Kyle here from All Media Reviews, here to do another vinyl collection, the final vinyl collection, which would be, I just uploaded 32, and I've got 33, 34, 35. I think this is the final one. I'm going to just combine it if time allows. This is the letter X and the letter Y and Z. So, yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I've talked about my plans after this, but let's just go over the stuff for X, Y, and Z. Which was actually a band, of course, that Chris Squire was going to be with Jimmy Page at one point, but didn't happen. XYZ. So, I don't have a very big collection. I'd like to get more of their stuff. I do see them occasionally, but someone's the price from the band XTC. So, which I've only been a fan of, the truth be, really for like maybe a little over 15 years. I knew about them probably in the early 2000s. I'd heard the name, but anyway. So I've got their first album, which is not an album I particularly love. Well, I think this is pop. It does. White Music from 78 or 79. It was late 70s, I know. I have a date on here. This is a virgin pressing, but here it is. Available. I'm just looking at the year. Again, my oh no, this was a 78. Yeah, I think 78, not 79. This was more raw than, they've become more experimental, of course, people that know them, but when I saw Terry Chambers' EXTC band, they played a pretty decent amount of this, but anyway, so yeah, I didn't pay a lot for it. I might have gotten this in Cleveland, I don't remember, because I probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't, it was $3.20, so, my XTC collection is not amazing, unfortunately, but I have more of their stuff on CD. I want to make sure I'm showing this in the correct... This is 84, so this will be coming later. And that's a later single, so I have this in the wrong order. Like I said, I'm a fan of XTC. Do I know their catalog beginning to end? No, not like perfectly of the chronology, the dates. So I've got... Okay, that was 83. I think English Settlement was 82. Yeah, so I have a copy of English Settlement, which is a double album, I believe. But, this is awfully thin. It's weird. I hope this isn't an abridged version. Of course, it has Senses Working Over Time. That's their biggest hit off this record. But Jason and the Argonauts. There's a English Roundabout. There's some fun songs that I felt like this is sort of a breakthrough. I mean, they have some records between this and that album I just showed, White Music, the debut. But, yeah. Good record. A lot of people adore this record. I have to admit that I've listened to it. I haven't listened to it as much as I might want to, and someday I may appreciate it even more, but they were still kind of raw, or finding, are they going to be a pop band? Are they going to be experimental, art rock, whatever, Although I think it was around that time, like the last tour that they actually did, and Andy Partridge developed the stage fright and everything like that, but... and they talk about that in the documentary, This Is Pop, I believe. Anyway, then I have Mummer from 83, an original UK pressing. And I don't remember what I paid for this, where I even got this. But yeah, this is one I think is more of a fan favorite again. Love in Memory of a Name and Lady Bird. This came out in 83. I paid just under $10 for it. I mean, they're a cult band. The hipsters love them, even though you could argue that they're kind of prog. I mean, they kind of are prog pop. But their records, thus, because they're a cult band, are a little more scarce and they're at times pricey. So there was a place when we went to, I think it was Cleveland was one place we found some of this, but my wife and I, but in Chicago, there was a record store in Chicago, in the Chicago area, when we saw the Mike and Mickey show in 2018 that had a lot of XTC. I didn't buy even nearly all of it. I mean, I probably should have bought more than I did. But so here's a promo copy of The Big Express. I know a lot of people kind of think this album is one of their worst. And I ended up paying $15 at Garda for it, but it was a promo, and I don't know why I ended up buying this again. Some of their early songs I love, like Making Plans for Nigel and wasn't on this. I mean, I don't know. With XTC, they're one of those bands where I want to love them more than I do, and I do really enjoy them. And I've gone to, I did go to the XTC thing, and I've gone to the local tributes a few times. But I'm still kind of, I guess, at some point I may eventually seek out more of their records. But anyway, the Big Express came out in '84. But as far like All You Pretty Girls, there aren't a lot of like sort of noteworthy tracks on this, and I know that's the reason why people kind of pass this record off as sort of being lesser among their catalogs. So okay, I've got, of course, I had to seek out. It took me a while to find a decent, reasonably priced copy of Skylarking from, I think that was '85. It was either '85 or '86. This is Todd Rundgren produced, of course. It's their most well-known record still to this day, pretty much. Grass, it's like called "Are You Really Super Girl?" I think it's like the last song too, and I'm looking for it on here. Not seeing it. I hope my copy got it. No, yeah, that's really Super Girl. Yeah, there's your track list. I haven't listened to this record in full in a long time, so I don't know the track order. Ballad for a Rainy Day is good. Dear God, of course, was another hit that initially wasn't on this, and then they reissued it at some point. They issued it as a single, and it became maybe the most requested and radio played song. And then I have what is Earn Enough for Us, I think? Or the Dear God 45, the 12-inch, yeah. Which I got at Half Price Books a few years ago. It has Grass. This is a promo. I think this says $5, but then someone bought it for $10 initially, so I saved $5 on it. But not much to the artwork, as you can see, but it's on Geffen, But yeah, Skylarking is a record I love, and certainly when I do my '80s albums of the year and get into that period, don't be surprised if it shows up somewhere in there. So the last one I do have on vinyl from XTC is probably my go-to. It's been my go-to for a while. Oranges and Lemons from I think it was '89. Yep. Which has King for a Day, which is, just an uplifting song. The Mayor of Simpleton. There's a couple others on the Across the Ant Heap. Across the Ant Heap. Some of these others I've enjoyed, but the production on this is really good. They were going for a more accessible sound, I felt like. With Skylarking, they were to an extent, but they didn't compromise as much. A title like Oranges and Lemons, and you can see like Jellyfish took a lot of inspiration and influence from XTC. And this album came out right when Jellyfish was making their first album, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, Oranges and Lemons is a great record, no denying that. I don't have none such. Obviously I'm missing some XTC in my collection. So rather than just do the X's on this video, I'm just going to finish up because I don't have that much in the Y's and the Z's. But of course the Y has one big artist. So here's my Yes collection, which I'll admit I don't have everything, and I'm surprised I'm missing a few things that I figured I would have, but I don't. So I have this pressing of the debut album, Yes. Of course, it has Sweetness, Survival, Beyond and Before, Yesterday and Today. Of course, it had Tony Kaye and Peter Banks, that lineup. But it's a fun record, but not their best at all, of course. And I've got the sort of, I think this is the British pressing, probably the American pressing of Time and a Word. I thought I had the other one that was more explicit, but I love the title track. I've always loved that song. I mean, again, this is still the original lineup with Banks and Kaye. Astral Traveler is another favorite on this album. Sweet Dream, No Opportunity Necessary, No Experience Needed. Yeah, I mean, this was what, 60, the other record was 68 or 69, this is 70. So, I don't know what year the absolute debut, I think it was 69. It doesn't say on here. Yeah, 69, Atlantic. So, of course, I think the weird thing about this cover is it has Steve Howe. That's why it was an American pressing, so they pressed it later. But, because Steve Howe was not on this album, of course. Steve Howe would join for the next album, of course, the Yes album, which, is a classic. It's filled with a few radio staples, and, I've Seen All Good People with Your Move and All Good People, and Starship Troopers especially. Yours is no disgrace, Perpetual Change. I can't say a lot more than most people could say. I give it the stamp of approval. It's not my favorite Yes album, but it's essential if you're a Yes fan to have. And it's, in some ways, it's almost the most universally liked album, actually. So here's my copy of the next album. That was 71. They would put out a record every year. The Yes album came out in 71. Of course, this is the one that Steve Howe joined. So then the next album, 72, was Fragile. And Rick Wakeman joins. Here's my copy of Fragile. Now, I don't even think it's a first pressing, but I paid $4 for it. Classic record. Heart of the Sunrise is my go-to on this, but I love South Side of the Sky. You know, Rick Wakeman did bring another element to them, I'll admit. I mean, again, I could say so much and people just know exactly what I'm supposed to say, you know. The little vignettes I don't mind. They don't bug me. And, you know, I favor this record over some of them. Of course, got Roundabout too, which is classic rock, radio staple, and it's like a sort of accessible prog, if you want to call it. So, and I do have a copy of Close to the Edge. Again, I don't think it's a first pressing, but not a most recent pressing. Some people consider their masterpiece, the final album with Bill Bruford, of course. I actually like Siberian Copter the most among the three pieces, because I've kind of been seeing it over-mentioned. The title track is great, although the church organ bugs me at times, with the patches. And You and I is fine. I don't know, I would say my piece on it. I still like it, but I think it's slightly overrated. I know people think it's the greatest progressive rock album ever made. There's nothing close, or it's clearly the best. No, it's not even the best Yes album, so anyway. But it's an album I still enjoy. I don't hate. I can listen to that. Things aren't... Sonically, it's very impressive. I used to listen to that and this album while I used to fall asleep. Actually, I had my jukebox CD player, and little CDs would come on. So I have, of course, the next year, 73, Bill Bruford leaves, Alan White joins, former drummer of, you know, John Lennon's band, the Plastic Ono band. I have a radio DJ copy, which I totally credit a class of mine who used to work at Cheaper Records in Minneapolis, and now is out in Portland, does radio for KEXP, and but he also has his own record store. This is the DJ copy. He just like set it aside for me of Tales from Topographic Oceans. So the value on this thing isn't like super high, like in terms of what's priced on Discogs, but I would suspect if I tried to sell this, I could probably sell it for a decent amount of money. But yeah, my go-to is The Ritual. I love that piece. I like the whole record. The Ancient is not a piece I like that much. I've never really fully got that piece, but the other three pieces I find all grew on me to some extent. And so it's like 3/4 really good, and this record is better than... It's still classic, yes, in their classic period. You know, the first album with Alan White. It's very ambitious, of course. Everything's been said about it, but to have that version is kind of cool that I have track breaks and stuff. I thought I had another version, but I don't think I do. So here's the copy of Relayer. The next year, of course, Rick Wakeman departs and Patrick Moraz comes in, 1974. Iconic artwork from Roger Dean, just like Tales. The Gates of Delirium is my favorite Yes piece, and the whole record's a masterpiece. To Be Over is great. I love Sound Chaser, even though it's quirky and odd. It's I think Moraz was brilliant, and like the battle section alone, probably the best thing that Yes ever did. Okay, so I do have the Yes Songs triple live album, which I'll totally confess that among live albums, especially from the 70s, but this is up there. This is on my top 5 live albums ever. I think what they did with some of the songs makes this album stand out. It's triple. I'm not going to open it up. It's too much work. But, you know, it's got Bruford on some of it and White on some stuff. Heart of the Sunrise, you know, Close to the Edge, of course, Yours is No Disgrace, Starship Trooper. It's got the little parts with, except from Six Wives of Henry VIII from Rick Wakeman. Perpetual Change is great. I mean, that's the thing, is you listen to this and they're like completely, some of the songs sound a lot different. They take them into other places, and that's why this record really stands out. And the fact that it's so expansive and it's a triple, it's like you want to go to Desert Island with the Yes album? This would be the one because you get the most bang for your buck in some ways. So I've got what would be 2 versions of Going for the One. Of course, Rick Wakeman rejoined the band from 1977. Because Yes Songs, I think, was 70... I don't know if Yes Songs may have predated... I can't remember if Yes Songs predated Relayer. I don't know. It was No, yeah, they did actually. So I had that in the wrong order. Yes, Rest Song should be going before, after Tales and before Relayer. But anyway, going for the one from '77, and I have the picture disc from it was just Record Store Day, I think, a few years back. It was $22, a little more. For an album that I kind of think is flawed, it's kind of weird that I have a picture disc, and it's not even, a Roger Dean cover art. I do like the back though. So, Rhino Records, who has the Monkees, of course, catalog. My favorites on this record are Parallels and Turn of the Century for the most part. I don't mind the title track, but I find Awaken pretty overrated. The church organ is cringy. So I don't despise this album, but I think it's overrated. I don't have the longing to listen to. I could do my own edited version of Awaken. I might be happier with it. But it's Wonder Stories, of course. I like Wonder Stories. So I mean, it's still a decent record, but the big epic that everyone raves about, I just don't really have the same feeling on. But still, it's a classic '70s Yes album, so it does have Wakeman. So I've got, of course, a copy I did buy of Tormato from '78. Tormato, which has a few decent tracks on it. I know some people look at it as a big step down from Going for the One, but it has Release, and it has Don't Kill the Whale, and then also is it On the Silent Wings of Freedom. It's not bad. It's just, I guess you could say it's not as fleshed out rather. That's the phrase I'm trying to search for, as some of the other Yes albums. But I think it's a '70s Yes album. For that period of time, a lot of the bands were putting out albums that put out great records earlier. Their stuff wasn't as good, so it's on par with that. And so I don't think it's amazing, but I don't hate it. I guess given the choice between the two, I still like Going for the One a little more. But so I've got, what was in effect? They put out 3 releases. No, this was later. Okay, they put out 2 releases in effect in 1980. They put out Yes Shows, which is a promo copy I have here, which has this had the Gates of Delirium. It doesn't have the other 2 parts of Relayer, unfortunately, but it's got Ritual Part 2. And Ritual Part 1 and Part 2. It's split up between the second part of Side 3 and the first part of Side 4. I don't think this album is as good as Yes Songs, but it's still a pretty damn good Yes live album. Simply the fact you get those 2 really great epics. It's got Don't Kill the Whale. It's got, Time in a Word. I mean, it's fine. Parallels, I think it's a pretty good live album. It came out the same year. And then, they released Drama, which is, it's like a radio promo of this. I've got 2 versions, actually. I thought that was true. Drama, after a long time, for a number of years, when I finally checked it out, I'd been a Yes fan for like 4 or 5 years and finally got around to listening to it and got it on CD, and I was blown away by it. This is my second favorite Yes album. It's fantastic. I have this promo here and then this other one, so I don't know if I'll ultimately need to keep both, but it's kind of cool to have promos. But Into the Lens is an absolute banger. It's a prog, like mid-length epic. What's it called? Machine Messiah and Tempest Fugit are also 2 highly memorable, enjoyable tracks I listen to always when I hear this. But the whole record flows really well. Trevor Horn sounds great. Jeff Downs' parts are great, and just the arrangement that Chris Squire and Steve Howe, Alan White even did. I don't know. It's like a reaction to listening to heavier music, a reaction to listening to Rush, a reaction to the members leaving, wanting to write something slightly different but similar, and have the 2 Buggles guys. I don't know. I don't mind the Buggles. Of course, I've heard Video Killed the Radio Star many times, but and of course they've got a version of Into the Lens that's different. It's not actually called Into the Lens. I forget the name. I found it on YouTube about 6 months ago. Of course, they did a tour, or Trevor Horn did a tour touring for the Buggles music with Seal, opening for Seal back in May. I saw a video. It was kind of cool to watch. Anyway, Drama, 1980, absolute favorite of mine. So I don't have 90125, and in fact, this is the final. No, I was going to show that. This is the final studio run. What I have was a classic Yes, and I don't remember why I bought this, but it included Roundabout, the 7-inch Roundabout in the jacket. So that was part of why I bought it. I think I found this at a thrift store though in St. Paul, This came out in 81. It's a compilation. You know, it's got Long Distance Runner on, and You and I, Starship Trooper. You know, it's a lot of predictable songs. It has Heart of the Sunrise. It's Roger Dean artwork, of course. But I think getting the 7-inch for Roundabout, which I'm not sure what's on the other side, if it's an edit. No, it's got I've got All Good People, Still All Good People, You're Moving All... Yeah, the Still All Good People, so it's kind of cool to have that. There's no artwork on this 7-inch single. In fact, this should probably go in my 7-inch stack, but for now, I'll keep it in here. So anyway, this is that classic Yes. But people like say, what should I get for Yes? I've never heard Yes. Some people suggest classic Yes, and I can't argue with it. It's a good sampling of, you know, the 70s Yes, basically. So the only other record I have from them is Big Generator, which 90125. I love one song on there. I've Earn It With All My Heart. I've heard them too many times, but a couple of those songs I've kind of grown to like Leave It, but I guess, it's like a push between that and this, and I just decided I bought this one day for $3. This has Rhythm of Love and Shoot High, Aim Low. Those are kind of like the known songs on it, but came out in, I want to say 87, 86, 87. It was mid-80s. I'm looking at the year on this. It was 87. So, not a great record, although they've put out records that are much worse. They put out better records since then, but they don't have them vinyl. So to close out this video and the final A to Z, I believe, this is something I think I got with something else. I didn't actually buy this, but this is a band called ZH Rhine, like Zrine, a North Theta, and I've never heard it, but I think I might have got this with like my Vector Records or something. Got sent this in the mail. Maybe it was with the Small League Sing Ship stuff. I don't remember, but I put it at the end of my stack. This is the last record in my A to Z from Season of the Mist, so it's probably is metal. So that's why the Vector thing kind of makes sense. But never heard it. It might be black metal, it might be death metal, might be melodic death metal. I don't know. So that's it for this round, this run of A to Z. I say I might do. I've done it before. I may show the 7 inches, which probably I could do in maybe 1 or 2 videos. But then I have, of course, this stack, which I'll show in a separate video, probably sometime mid next week, because this will be being uploaded sometime early next week. That's my collection update, some stuff I'm expecting in the mail, and I do want to do a vinyl tag, and I want to do the albums that changed my life. But after that, I think, I'm going to try to get going on these albums of the year. But I could also make an announcement that isn't that surprising after trying to seek out all my CDs, which I'm still missing, especially that jazz book. I do think I may try doing something similar. Maybe a year from now, maybe 6, I'm not sure when. Maybe it'll be early next year, sometime when I have time after this other stuff is done, of course. Because I do want to do an A to Z for my CDs. Cassettes, I don't know. It may happen, it may not happen, but the compact discs, at least, I have a lot more invested in. A lot more, just there's a lot more, of course, of. So that should be something I'll plan, but again, I don't know when that's going to be. This other stuff is my priority. I didn't show this, given that this was primarily a Yes video. I have this. I know that Scott from the Prog Corner has one of these too. In fact, maybe this will be my screen cap. So anyway, but thank you for watching. I hope this series didn't get to be too long-winded. There is a playlist that I post on every video that links the whole thing, going back to video number 1. I was just doing the selections and then starting the letter A. But thank you for watching. Again, please subscribe if you have not subscribed, and we'll see you next time.